Hello, welcome to the greattipoff.com YouTube page. It's currently Oaks evening. We are done and dusted for a great day of racing, and we look forward to Champion Stakes Day at Flemington. Plenty of rain forecast. Mick Gannon and David Gately with you. Gator, good evening to you.
Very good evening to you, mate. Yes, it looks a bit biblical, but we'll play with the cards we're dealt. That's what we do, right?
Absolutely. Really looking forward to this day of racing. A day of racing that's really turned into, potentially the best day of racing in the spring. It's out of nowhere, maybe the last few years, all of a sudden it's been maybe some afterthoughts for some horses, but you're still getting the best of the best. And the King Charles and the Cox Plate, and they're not, these horses end up down here. It's really, really well done, well organized, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, they definitely had a plan, didn't they? And that's what they wanted to not only extend the carnival, but still attract the stars of the turf. And so far, in the short space of time where this has been in action, it seems to be working. And if the Champions Mile is any guide, it's something they'll stick to because it's as good as races I've seen for a long time.
3 to 20, sorry, 5 to 20 mils of rain forecast. Expect to be playing on at least, and I think the key for that rain too is Gator is it's going to be on race day. So, uh,
Mm.
what would you suggest? Anywhere from a soft seven worse?
Yeah, look, I think that's fair. If they do get upwards of that, 20 mils on game day, it just doesn't have a chance to dry out, does it? So we know it's one of the best draining tracks on the planet, but if it's 15 degrees and the rain's falling, it's basic maths that we're on a genuine wet track. Yep.
So there's a few races. We'll touch on the sprint first, and before we look into some longer distance races where you might need some rock hard fit types, but they're the types that you do get towards the back end of the carnival. Let's kick off the
Yeah.
Champion Sprint. Kick a kick, Jetta Beale, Cabulous, very good down the straight the other day for Bjorn Baker, Libertad. Tropicus, Jolie Star, Magic Time, Benedetta, Flying for Fun was also good there, running second down the straight. And Tentaris, who was absolutely enormous in the Coolmore, at some risk of going around if we're on a wet track there, Gator. How do you see the
Yeah.
champion sprint?
Yeah, well, I'm assuming they're all there because as we speak, they're all still there. But I did hear that with Tentaris. I think a soft track they probably run, but if it gets into the heavy range, we might not see him. Jolie Star's never seen a heavy track, but she's been adept on soft ground. I thought she ran a great race in the Everest, back and wide, no real cover. She got the back of Jimmy Star and then finished alongside him. We all saw what he did last week. It's definitely the A plus form. Tentaris on the clock was dynamite. It was a fast day, Derby Day, but he was dynamite. Relative to the Cabalas race, he would have beaten that race 6 lengths. So
Yeah.
it's an easy line to draw. And Giga Kick probably comes into it on a genuine wet track, as does Magic Time, who probably would have been a length off those two on a dry track.
Love it. Beautiful. Fascinating race. You think over the 1,200 meters, they get to the outside rail. Who's most advantaged there? Jolie Star, J-Mac, probably drawn the widest of those horses you're most keen on.
Yeah, look, it's certainly the way it's been trending. So late Cup Day and then Oaks Day, beyond the middle of the track. The last winner did draw gate 4, but they still steered up the middle. But they don't want to get too wide either. If they get to that outside rail, it's generally inferior ground as well. So there's that sweet spot, probably middle of the track to 3 or 4 off the outside rail is probably the where you want to be working. Yep.
Probably similar to the area we saw maybe a Point Barrow get the job done
Yeah.
this afternoon.
Yep.
The Champions Mile, what a cracking race this is. Mr. Brightside, he'll relish a bit of give out of the ground, as will Chow
Mm.
Wolf, Pericles, Lake Forest, The Party, Von Hawk, Pride of Jenny. She was back to her very best. Steffi Magnetica, Low Flying, Treasure of the Moment, Like a Lucy. Gee whiz, this is some race here, Gator.
No, it is that. I was surprised with like a Lucy they didn't go to the matriarch, but they're having a crack here and they've picked a tough assignment. Yeah, I think on genuine wet ground, you're right. It's probably advantage Mr. Brightside and Chael Wolf. You saw what Chael Wolf did first step. He was beaten by Via Sistina and Aliana, but he was enormous against the pattern of that race and day. Then a couple of fair runs, or solid runs, quite good runs. And then back to his brilliant best with the blinkers on later. So I've landed on him, but gee, I could make a strong case for 6 of those you mentioned. There's Treasure of the Moment, Back to the Mile, Pride of Jenny, Dynamite from the front. She handles the wet, she's crossed the line with Mr. Brightside on heavy ground. But Brightside's the one who he can swim. Won at Doncaster on a bottomless track. So yeah, a really challenging race to assess because they're all really good horses. um, I've tipped Char Wolf, but let's just say there'll be a few for the quaddy.
Fair to say that the chances of Char Wolf basically falling in the hands of a Mr. Brightside or a Treasure of the Moment, assuming she does turn up, because someone's got to cut that horse up to Pride of Jenny. Who do you think
Mm.
takes that role in this race?
Yeah, well, we've seen Mr. Brightside do that in the past, and take that trailing role. It's sort of the role I had penciled in for Idle Flyer on Saturday, and when she was off the map, I thought we got that one right, but she was didn't turn up on the day. But yeah, so it will be interesting. There's a couple there. Treasure of the Moment's the other one who's tried that in the fan with some success as well. She was second up month between runs. She didn't beat Pride of Jenny, but ran really well doing it. And as I say, she had that setback leading in, so she might better turn the tables on Jenny. But gee, as I say, any of those, you could make a good case, and one of us will be right at the end of the race.
Love it. 2000 metres champion stakes. This is a good little race as well. Tom Kitten, light infantryman, Kovalika, attrition, Alan Quer, Pierre, who's been in good form, Golden Path, Point Kings, and Bardo. Big target this. They're really aiming up here. Via Sistina and Benadryl. Via Sistina, heavy track. Got to be some sort of query, but she's proven, she can handle it a little bit as well. It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, she won first up on the heavy, didn't she? And beat Aliana Chaya Wolf. And I actually risked her that day because the previous time I'd seen her on a wet track, she was ordinary, in the Maccabi Diva. Um, Now, I guess the difference is with the Maccabi Diva race, they got rain on the day. And J-Mac said she just slippery surface, she didn't let down. So, that's what we're looking at on Saturday. Add to that, it'll be race 36. So there'll be, although Flemington's the best track right up there with any in the world, it's a lot of horses galloping on a track. So there are genuine queries. Look, you'd have to tip her. It just comes down to price, I guess, then. She comes through the Cox Plate, she won it, and it's an easier race, So she's hard to tip against, but there are those queries that are real.
One at big value price, anything there? Could you tip us into a Benadryl? Is there anything that you think is going to handle the wet? Maybe a Peer from left field? Anything we need to chuck in to race 8, second last leg of the quaddies, maybe in our quaddies that might, if she does roll, who's going to beat her?
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're going to get a split, that's the leg. But so Tom Kitten and Pierre both ran really well in the King George. They're on the heels of Chaya Wolf and obviously Mr. Brightside was second there. So it's very easy to draw that line with Via Sistina. So, they will go in my wider quaddie and then, a second or even a third quaddie will have Via 1 out in case she's too good and you get a higher percentage. So that's the way I'll probably play it. Benadryl's fourth pick, I don't think she's out of it on a Treasure of the Moment form. And then it's probably a little gap to the rest of them is the way I'm reading it. But, the wet track's thrown some queries into that race.
Few adjustments made on the day. No doubt
Mm.
some horses will come out, maps will change, and there'll be a lot to sort of play on the bounce. But David Gailey, your best bet as it stands on Thursday night for Saturday. Maybe you've got a
Yeah.
value play as well. Anything for the
Yeah,
punters.
yeah, that's it. Race 2, number 2, Sabaj. Obviously, an excellent first up, impossible to miss. Gets to the mile quickly, draws out. I think that'll be a plus. If the rain does come, we saw that Cup Day. They were winning from wide gates late in the day, so made him the best. Value race 9, number 11, Sweethearted, who loomed to win first up and just didn't quite finish it off. I think she'd be fitter here. Drawn to swoop on them in that sweet spot of the track, we think.
Love it. If you want to get the gator set at gotipoff.com, search David Gately. Easy as that, mate. Well done on what's been a massive staying test over this spring carnival. You've absolutely killed it. Thank you for joining us towards the back end of it. Love hearing all your stuff with Gareth on RSN and SEN as well. And obviously don't get a chance to catch your broadcasts on Channel 9 because I'm
Mm.
busy myself, but no doubt you're killing it there as well. Thank you so much for your time, mate, and do appreciate it.
Been a pleasure, mate, and good luck to punters final day.
We'll need it.